Talk about the mayor of New York now. Mayor Zohran Mamdani unveiled a new budget that taxes the rich, forgoes a property tax hike, and also depends on the generosity of Governor Hochul to fill a budget gap that the mayor called historic.
And then that generosity and the governor's reprieve came at the 11th hour today, and political reporter Marcia Kramer joins us now to help us do the math on this. Marcia?
Well, Jess and KJ, Mayor Mamdani was unrepentant in his determination to tax the rich and to create a city that is more hospitable to working New Yorkers. A lingering question is whether it will drive businesses out and hurt the tax base.
When working people organize, they can fundamentally change what is politically possible.
Mayor Mamdani unveiled a $124.7 billion budget to fill the $5.4 billion budget gap with $4 billion in aid from Albany and $1.77 billion in savings, mostly through efficiencies and not filling vacant positions. What wasn't in the budget was a 9% increase in property taxes that the mayor included in his preliminary fiscal plan in an attempt to scare Albany into coming up with more aid. It apparently worked because even though the mayor didn't get a request for increasing income and corporate taxes, he got the governor to back a new pied-à-terre tax on luxury second homes that hopes to raise $500 million. The mayor also proposed raising $68 million by reducing a city business tax credit that overwhelmingly benefits millionaires.
We taxed the rich, asking those with the most to contribute a little bit more to support those with the least.
The budget also seeks $519 million in savings from the CityFEP's voucher program, mostly through efficiencies. The money from Albany will also give the city $508 million in savings by allowing the city to push back implementation of a mandate for smaller class sizes. Even with that, the city is committed to hiring 1,000 more teachers and spending $1.5 billion to build new schools. There will also be $500 million to renovate NYCC apartments, $256 million to restore vacant NYCC units. Mayor Mamdani also did something other mayors have failed to do, which is to eliminate the annual budget dance where libraries, parks, and cultural institutions were cut so that the council could then restore them. Instead, there's $31 million for libraries, $15 million for parks, $10 million for cultural institutions, and $25 million for the Fair program.
Rather than cutting funding to these services, we will do the opposite and raise the baseline of what they can expect, because we reject politics as usual.
Now, meanwhile, President Trump chided the mayor for his tax to rich policies, saying he should, and I quote, cherish people like hedge fund billionaire Ken Griffin, because if you lose people like that, it's not recoverable. I'll have that part of the story coming up at 6.
Well, the libraries and the parks and those others that you mentioned are going to be happy about this because they're used to getting cut.
The real question is what the council is now going to want to restore anyway.
Of course.
I'm guessing CityFEPs, but I could be wrong.
Marcia, we'll see you at 6. Thank you. As political reporter Marcia Kramer explains, the new spending plan came with a warning from President Trump.
A tax on the luxury second homes of rich people like hedge fund billionaire Ken Griffin, and elimination of a business tax credit affecting some 24,000 people, mostly millionaires, are two parts of the new budget that will allow Mayor Mamdani to say he's kept a campaign promise to tax the rich. It's also opened him up to criticism from President Trump, who says the mayor has to be nice to rich people so they won't leave.
You've got to cherish them. You got to bring them to the office. You got to meet them. You have to have dinner with them. You have to convince them not to leave. You're going to make their life great.
The president on WABC radio talking about Ken Griffin's threat to take jobs and business to other states because the mayor made him the poster boy for his campaign to tax luxury second homes. You also have businessmen like Steve Ross, Ken Griffin, and others who've said they may take their business elsewhere. How worried are you about these warnings and these threats that in the long run could reduce the city's tax base?
When you keep New Yorkers safe at what are now record levels, you also create the environment for others to choose this city as their home. And we look to every business leader and prospective business leader to keep considering this city.
What you're saying is you're not really worried about these threats because you think that what you're doing to improve the city will attract other people and other businesses, so whatever these businessmen are threatening isn't going to hurt your bottom line.
We want everyone to stay in this city, and we also want others to join them here in this city.
So, Marcia, let's look in between the lines a little bit here. He did not get his wish to raise income taxes on millionaires or even raising corporate taxes, right? And then there is a tax, though, on luxury second homes, that pied-à-terre tax that we've all been talking about. How did he do on his other campaign promises?
Well, free buses, no. but he says he wasn't able to convince the governor to do that, but he says he's going to continue to push. As for the rent freeze, as you know, it's not part of the budget. The Rent Guidelines Board meets in June. They've indicated that they're open to the idea of a rent freeze. We have to wait and see what happens. And on city-run supermarkets, he promised one in every borough. So far, there's just one he's proposing to build in Harlem.
Okay, what's next?
Well, first of all, the budget is not a done deal. The city council has to hold hearings on it, and then they were going to come back and say what they want to add to the budget. And I guess, you know, they're going to ask for a couple of things. If I were going to bet, I would say they want more money for city FEPs. That's the voucher program that will give people housing.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we always like to hear your hunches, Marcia. Thank you. We appreciate that.